Should you apply for visitor visa of Canada if you are eligible to get spouse upon work permit? This is the topic of today. Along with that, I am going to cover one more topic which is related to this, which is should you apply for your family separately, spouse upon work permit separate, and for kids separate visa application or not. So these two things I am going to cover in this video. Recently, I had a conversation with one of the clients who recently got the refusal of spouse upon work permit. They went to some other consultant and asked about their file, and they got the consultation done, and they came back to me. They discussed the entire case with me again, and we discussed about this complete scenario where we applied for spouse upon work permit from outside Canada, and we applied along with the kids. So we applied for SOWP and kids all together, which I usually want to do. And the student, the primary applicant, is already studying in Canada, doing master's degree in Canada. So spouse was eligible for spouse upon work permit. So he was the dependent, perfectly fine to get spouse upon work permit in this scenario. Student is doing 2 years of master degree in Canada. So eligibility wise, there was no problem. But still, the secondary applicant, the spouse, got the refusal of spouse upon work permit. So in that particular scenario, what should be required to be done? And if the spouse got the refusal of the application, does it mean that he should go for a visitor visa and he should apply for the family separately, spouse upon work permit separate and kids visa separate? So in the entire conversation, I could understand that whenever you get refusal, you try to find out the way out, means what can be the better way of doing things. And many consultants are there, when they don't have any particular reason to say something to you, they try to find out alternate solutions. May not be the right solutions, but some kind of solutions are there. So the other consultant said that you should go for a visitor visa while you are going for a spouse visa. Once you get the visitor visa, reach Canada, and from inside Canada apply for your spouse upon work permit. Second thing, why you are applying for your kids along with spouse visa? That was also there. And rather than applying with spouse, apply for the kids separately and apply for the spouse separately. I am the one who is trying to encourage everyone to apply for the entire family together from outside Canada. I am saying apply for Canada study visa with spouse. Do not go separately, do not apply separately. No matter what kind of result you are going to get, whether it is a visa of everyone, whether it is the refusal of everyone, whether one get visa and other get refusal, whatever result happens, but at least give it a try to apply for the entire family together. This is what I am promoting everywhere. Reason for that is quite specific. There should not be separation of family, and it is quite painful. And I am not saying it, I am not telling it just by some superficial knowledge about this scenario. No, I have felt it myself. I have lived in Canada without my family, and I know the pain of separation. And in the current scenario, in last year, many families got separated because of the change of the rule that with PG diploma you cannot apply for spouse upon work permit. And I can understand their pain and their scenarios as well. And there are many families who are trying to get their study visa separately and spouse upon work permit separately. Worry in this particular scenario is, yes, you are increasing your study visa chances a bit, but you can get the separation from the family in case later on there is a change in the rule. For example, if you are applying for Canada study visa separately and spouse you have decided to apply separately, in that particular scenario what can happen? Suppose you get Canada study visa for May intake. As soon as you land in Canada in May intake and you are ready to apply for spouse upon work permit, that time suppose there is a new rule that even with a master's degree of 2 years you cannot apply for spouse upon work permit. You require a research degree, just like UK. You require a research degree to apply for spouse upon work permit. Then what you are going to do for next 2 years? You will not be able to reach Canada. Spouse will not be able to reach Canada. Kids can be there who are separated from the mother or father. That kind of scenario can happen. So the better scenario is either the entire family should get visa or no one should get visa. That should be the ideal scenario. If your spouse is not getting visa, ideally I will not suggest, even though it is against business norms or something, that I should ideally tell you that you should travel as soon as possible. But if the spouse, family, kids, if no one is getting visa as dependent, in that case you should stay in India or in your home country, get the visa, and entire family should travel to Canada altogether. Otherwise there can be a separation, and that separation can stay for a long time. It can be for the duration of study, it can be for the duration of work permit as well, if there will be like unfavorable rules in future for work permit, that even if you are on PG work permit, you cannot call your spouse in Canada. In those kind of scenario, until unless you get PR of the entire family, till that time you will be separated from the family. It can take 4 to 5 years of total duration, and this is not really a pleasant scenario for anyone. So I would not recommend this to happen with you. That's why I always recommend to go apply for the entire family together, Canada study visa with spouse. That is what I am trying to promote to everyone, and we are getting visas as well. It is not a problem. If you get refusal, still reapply with the entire family together. But in any case, if the student primary applicant is already in Canada, and then you are applying for spouse upon work permit, and you are eligible to apply for that as well, whether it is the case where student is studying a 2 year of master degree and you are perfectly eligible to apply for SOWP in that case, then in that case as well, do not apply for visitor visa, especially after getting refusal. Even if you get refusal, applying for spouse upon work permit is the best case for you. There are two type of applications. One is visitor visa, which you can take. Second is spouse upon work permit. Most of the spouses who are applying for visitor visa rather than spouse upon work permit, they are getting refusal. It is happening with most visitor visa applications. And people who are applying for random visitor visa application, refusal rate is more than 90%. So I will not recommend to apply for visitor visa to anyone, especially if you are parent. Then in that case, for parents it is perfectly fine, you can proceed for it. But other than that, if you are spouse, if you are applying like a random application, you are sibling, then the refusal rate is really high in current scenario. So not really recommended. So visitor visa is just a request to enter in Canada. They may deny it. Spouse visa is something like you own it. You can ask for it. This is family reunification, and there is some kind of authority in spouse open work permit application. If you are meeting all the eligibility criteria from the primary applicant, and you have sufficient funds, and if you are meeting all the other requirements as well, which are subjective or objective. Subjective requirements, just like you are working and you have good prospect of returning home. If those things are there, financial capacity is completed, which is an objective matter. So if you are completing all the requirements, even if you get refusal, then also you can get visa. There is no problem in that. Do not switch your application to a visitor visa application. This is not recommended at all. Spouse visa application has far higher acceptance rate compared to visitor visa. So visitor visa is just out of picture, and do not apply for visitor visa if you are eligible to get spouse upon work permit. So this is one thing. Visitor visa is suitable for someone, for example, your spouse is there in Canada, completing a 2 year of PG diploma, you cannot or do not want to change it to a master degree, and there is more than 1 year of study pending. In that kind of scenario, okay, right now let's take a chance for visitor visa. If you get it, you get it, and if you get refusal, it doesn't matter. It is just like a chance, because you don't have eligibility, you cannot apply for spouse upon work permit. You are taking a chance in that scenario. Good to go, no problem, take a chance, it's not a problem. But if you are eligible to get spouse upon work permit, then do not take this type of risk. Do not change to visitor visa application in the first place, in the first application, or even after refusal. So this is what I am recommending. Second thing is, apply separately. Spouse upon work permit separate, and kids visa is separate. Kids visa can be either visitor visa or study visa. Do not separate kids visa application with spouse upon work permit application. Whenever kids visa application is processed along with spouse upon work permit application, their application is quite easy, quite smooth. There is no complication in that at all. You just require to show funds for your kids. That anyway, even if you are applying separately for kids, anyway you require to show funds for the kids. So if you already have funds, then combine the application and apply it together for the entire family. Reason is quite specific. Whenever you apply for your kids separately, their application becomes an individual application, and it is getting processed separately by a separate visa officer. So if spouse is getting visa, then along with that, kids will always get visa. There is no refusal for the kids if you are applying for everyone together. But in case you are applying for the kids separately, for example, there is a kid age 7, then you need to apply for study visa for that kid. Now the application will become a normal study visa application for this particular kid. And if visa officer ignores the fact that this particular kid is going for study visa application as a dependent, not as a normal study visa application, then straight away this application will be refused, because you will not have a letter of acceptance from any college or university. This kid will not have any IELTS or PTE test. So it can become a really complex scenario for you. So here as well, apply for the entire rest of the dependent family together, spouse and kids all together. If the kid's age is 5 or little less than 5 or above 5, then apply for study visa. If the age is 4 or below, in that case go for visitor visa of the kid. And do attach your medical as well and apply for spouse and kids all together. That is the best scenario possible for you, and it becomes a really easy application for you. And let's take one more scenario. For example, you separate the applications. Spouse gets spouse upon work permit, one kid get visitor visa. One kid is there who for whom you applied for study visa, and this kid got refusal. Then are you going to leave this particular kid who got refusal in India or in your home country outside Canada and travel to Canada? Will you do that? The answer is no. Until unless all the dependents get visa, you are not going to travel to Canada. Then why not to apply for the entire family together? At least there will be, everyone will be getting the same result. And if the funds are there, kids application will not become a burden on spouse upon work permit application. We have applied numerous number of applications. I guess I have done more than 1000 spouse visa applications for Canada. My clients are used to be right now as well, they are mature clients. They try with family, go with family, and many of them apply along with family. I have done hundreds of applications where I have done all the applications together, Canada study visa with spouse and entire family. I have done it. And I have done thousands of applications where I have done spouse upon work permit and the kids together. I never separated the files of the spouse and kids. No need to separate them. I have got numerous visas, and with my own experience, I have done it for myself as well. I went for Canada study visa, then I applied for my family, and initially as well, I wanted to get Canada study visa for the entire family together. I applied for the entire family together. I went for PhD, applied for entire family together. I got my own visa through reconsideration. After getting refusal, then I submitted the reconsideration of my family as well, because they didn't put the application in process for my family, and conversation went on going on emails and through web forms, and later on they asked for documents from my family, and I submitted the documents as well. Then later on COVID happened, and after COVID everything got stopped. But I applied for the entire family together. That is the motive since beginning for my own application when I started my journey for Canada. And later on as well, I applied for many clients where I applied for the entire family together. That is the best scenario. If it doesn't happen, at least apply for the dependents together. Then when their visa was not approved, I applied for both of my daughters and my wife together, and they got visa together as well. So that's how you should apply for your visa. Do not go for fancy applications, just like someone is saying, why not to try this, why not to try that. Just getting a refusal doesn't mean that you have made it a mistake in the application. It can be merely just because there is issue with the immigration targets and they just want to give refusal to a particular region or particular embassy. Just because your luck was not in favor, you got the refusal. Doesn't mean you getting a refusal, doesn't mean you require to change anything. And I have seen it in hundreds of applications where we got refusals, submitted the same document, same SOP with small justification and got visa. And there are caps notes as well, where caps notes said that this is the problem in the in document, this kind of problem is there in the application, so and so and so. And after a few days, we got visa with the same university, same college and same program, same SOP, same documentation, we got visa. So if we are able to understand that everything is fine, we are clearing the eligibility, we are having funds, our marriage is bona fide, our documentation is fine, our SOP is fine. If we know everything is fine, reapply for your case. Do not change your application to visitor visa, and do not apply separate visa application for your kids and spouse. Apply together and apply for spouse visa only. That is the message for you. Thank you so much for watching this video till the end. See you in next video.